So the true story is, I was worried about Aloha from the get-go. As soon as I saw the trailer, the first time I saw it, I thought it looked interesting. But there was something about the trailer that made me feel like this could be a really bad movie. And we saw the trailer tons of times, and so much to the point where every time it came on, I sort of cringed. Especially with the Alec Baldwin scene. Yeah, it's done a little better in the movie, but So Aloha is another one of those movies where lots of big stars, lots of great people in it, but it's not that good of a movie. So Aloha is written and directed by Cameron Crowe, and he's done quite a bit of movies that you might have heard of. And while I haven't seen all of them, the ones I have seen I did like We Bought a Zoo, and I really want to, but I still have yet to see Jerry Maguire. But one of the movies that most people consider a masterpiece from him is another movie that I felt was really boring and more of a 2-star rated movie for me, and that's Almost Famous. And that might be blasphemous for me for saying that, but Almost Famous I didn't like that much, even though it has all the right elements of a movie that I would like. And so Aloha comes, and granted, I kind of like it better than Almost Famous, but not by much. Alright, first off, what is Aloha really about? Well, I guess the main story is Bradley Cooper is part of the army or something, and he's working for a contractor who's played by Bill Murray, who wants to send a satellite into space, and there might be some iffy things about that satellite, and he's partnered with Emma Stone, who's a really hyper caffeine crazy lady, and all the while he makes contact with his ex-girlfriend, who's now married and has kids, and her husband doesn't speak, and they're in Hawaii. That's kind of what it is. It's a little messy, and when I try to explain it to people, that's what comes out. I can't quite grasp it, and it's one of those movies where you watch it, you're watching it, and if you go with the flow, it makes perfect sense, but when you try to remember what exactly happened in the movie to tell other people, it gets a little jumbled, and especially the first half of the movie. I think that is by far the worst part of the movie, and it's the messiest. So yeah, let's talk about this first half, because that's the main flaw of the movie for me, and oh my god, my power just came back on. I'm not going to even edit that out. While it's trying to quickly introduce characters in the most bizarre, most lazy sort of ways, it also really drags till it finally gets to the middle of the movie. It just drags on, and it deals with some sort of politics that doesn't need to be really done. It's like they need like permission from certain Hawaiian group in order to bless the satellite that's being launched into the sky, even though they don't really need the blessing to go through with it, but they'd appreciate it, and they have to make some sort of deal with the Hawaiians about land, and I don't even know what happened, honestly. And some of the characters are just bizarrely introduced. Bill Murray's character, who's the contractor, and the first thing he does as soon as you see him on screen and Bradley Cooper comes in, he suddenly just starts giving Bradley Cooper a massage, and it's really awkward and unfunny in my opinion. And Emma Stone, oh my god. Alright, first off, like the actress, like a lot of movies she's in, but her character in this film was super annoying. Not as annoying as these two, but close to it. Basically, she's this over-hyper caffeine freak, I guess, or she's just naturally that way, and it gets really annoying because she gives it her all, but unfortunately her all makes it really annoying and makes her character completely unbelievable, and to the point where it just feels like a cartoon. Now, that's not to say that she doesn't give some good performances in this movie. In fact, when she slows down and you get a little deeper into the character towards the second half of the film, she does amazing. She's really good. And it's really more down to earth, and it's not as hyper and crazy and unbelievable. Another thing that this movie tries to throw in the mix is, because it's in Hawaii, they try to throw as much Hawaiian culture and mythology and beliefs into this film. They just try to pack it in, and it doesn't really go anywhere. Now, I can see some of it actually being legitimately good for the movie, because there is a myth and there's this something about a Hawaiian god and a myth, and it tells a little bit of a foreshadowing for the end of the movie. So I think that needs to be kept in there, and that's the stuff that the little kid in Bradley Cooper's X, he tells of the mythology and stuff, and I think that should definitely keep in there, but everything else is just like added to throw in, like, oh, this is Hawaii, here's their culture, here's their beliefs, and it doesn't really go anywhere. Like, there's a scene where Bradley Cooper and Emma Stone are coming from after they made the deal with the Hawaiians about the blessing and stuff like that, which is first half of the movie still. They're coming out, and suddenly these people all in white just walk across the road, and Emma Stone's like, keep your head down, don't look down, don't look up at them, and or some curse would happen or something, and then it's only in that scene, and then like nothing else happens with it. It's just like thrown in there, and it just makes the film messy. Another way they tried to force Hawaiian culture into the picture is that Emma Stone is part Hawaiian in this movie. Yeah, she's part Hawaiian in this movie. I think they could have at least picked an actor or actress that looks a little Hawaiian. Maybe. Then there's completely useless scenes, or uselessly long scenes. Like, I can understand them celebrating about making the deal and the blessing and stuff, but it's really long, and there's this awkward, weird dance scene with Bill Murray and Emma Stone, and with Danny McBride as a DJ, and it's not funny at all. My God, there's plenty of bad things to say about this movie. Another thing is they completely underutilized a lot of the acting, and like Bill Murray, I don't care that I'm gonna spoil this for you. I don't care. It's a pretty bad movie. It's still gonna get a meh kind of score because the second half is way better, but Bill Murray is the villain in this movie, and he's in like 3-4 scenes. Many of those scenes are just very short, and I love Bill Murray, but this character could have been played by anyone, and you would not know the difference. Like, there's not enough of Bill Murray's usual kind of stuff in this, and Alec Baldwin was underutilized, which I kind of like because his character was a little too over the top, and if there was too much of him, I would have him as the second worst character in this movie, followed by Emma Stone's character. A lot of people thought the chemistry between Emma Stone and Bradley Cooper wasn't good, but I bought into it a little bit. I understand that maybe it's because they were annoyed too much with Emma Stone's character, and Bradley Cooper was such a different character as well, but I don't know, I bought into it a little bit, and it wasn't the greatest, it wasn't really good, it was okay. So when that romance started picking up, and when the crazy thing that obviously almost puts their relationship in jeopardy like any romantic comedy or romantic movie would have, it started getting a lot better. The main story got a little better too, because there was more of some sort of shady dealings and some sort of conspiracy going on, and that kept it a little interesting. Ultimately, what I thought was the most interesting part of the movie and the most entertaining part of the movie, the thing that kept me engaged the most, was a subplot, and that's the subplot of Rachel McAdams and John Krasinski. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I think the story about their relationship, what's going on with them, their lives, I think that was ultimately the best part of the movie for me, and I enjoyed it because of that. So Aloha, not a good movie, kind of forgettable, and first half is terrible, second half actually has some greatness in it. There's some scenes where, that's what it is, the speech in the trailer talking about where Emma Stone's saying that there's greatness in this man. That's what this film is like. There's some greatness in some of the scenes, and there's some perfection actually in this movie. It's unfortunately so messy, so chaotic, that overall the movie is just bad. But there has to be something going for it, because I saw it with my dad and my sister, just like almost all the movies I review, and ever since I started doing stars and stuff, and ever since he's read the paper, he's been just rating stuff too, and he does it out of 4 stars, and he almost never gives anything a perfect star. The fact that I have 3 perfect star ratings this year is just kind of odd to him. And he gave Mad Max Fury Road like a 3.9999 out of 4, but Aloha, he gave it a perfect score. So there must be something going for this movie. It's just I did not see it, and there's enough bad things and enough things that are so messy and unnecessary in this film that I cannot give it a really good rating. So I'm gonna give Aloha 2.5 stars. So have you seen Aloha? What did you think about it? Go ahead and comment. If you haven't seen it, what's your favorite Cameron Crowe movie? I've only seen 3 movies of his. I still have to see other movies I want to see, but I've only seen We Bought a Zoo, Almost Famous, and now Aloha. And of course, my favorite one now has to be We Bought a Zoo. This is Bruce Gifford, and this was Just My Opinion.